welcome back to another Saturday morning creative session. So today what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to make this little clay plaque with a couple of koi fish kind of swirling around a lotus flower. I think that's kind of the idea I'm going for. So I have some reference pictures of some of the old sculpture I created with that koi fish. Also a couple of real fish, as well as some Japanese style tattoo pictures, and I kind of want to use these as ideas as I come up with this plaque. So I wanted to create this plaque as a gift, so it's a piece that I actually want to complete and finish, depending on how the concept looks. I'm not 100% exactly sure where I'm going to go with it yet, but that's all the part of the fun for just kind of sketching and seeing what comes out. Starting out with just a wooden panel, using water-based clay again, like I usually do. And what I'm doing is just going to kind of just kind of press the clay on there, attach it to the board. Grab a big enough board depending on what you're going to work on. I have a Lazy Susan underneath, just so I can kind of work around it. I'm going to decide on how big I want the piece, how, kind of the shape or an idea shape. It might change later on, and I might kind of go off of this, I might go into this. Not really sure yet. And go like that. Yeah. So I'm going to do this, and we're going to cut this edge off. Another reason the Lazy Susan helps. Boop. Take these off. And then you have your plaque shape. And going in, I don't want it just typical shape, so I'm actually going to have it, I kind of want the yin and yang look to this, but I don't want it just straight up and down, so I think I'm going to do one fish kind of curling around here. And then have the other one kind of curling up around here, going this way, the tail flowing this way, and actually have this one curve a little bit more and not go there, but rather start a little bit right there. Something like that, and I'll have a lotus flower somewhere in the middle here. And so going with that, you can see I have a start, I have a beginning, a place I want to go. And then from there we'll jump in. We're going to start with really simple shapes again. And let's see. It also depends on how big you want these. But we're just going to do cylinders to start with, and I'm going to have kind of longer flowing tails, so they're still going to go to this length, but the body is going to go to about here. Okay. Koi fish are a little bit thicker up here towards the head. It kind of comes to a point, thickens for the body, and then slims down for the tail. So we're just going to add in a little bit of meat up here. Just like that. And then, let's see. What we'll do, and then the tail will come up this way. So spin it around, do the same thing for this guy. And start him right there. And these guys don't have to be the same size if you don't want them. This is your piece to complete. You do that. And then down here, of course, will be the tail. All right. The other thing is this is going to be on water, so it isn't going to be like my other koi fish to where it was kind of like a side view. This is going to be like a top, like looking down into the water. So we're going to have eyes on both sides. Let's see. Have a fin there. Fin are actually a little bit farther back. Have the fins there and there coming out. Have the other smaller fins or back fins here and there, as well as here and there. And then of course these will flow out. All right. So let's go to this. All right, so kind of trying to make this a little bit more even. The other thing about this is that I kind of have a feeling to where it's going to be a little off shapen because I'm going to do some edges and maybe do some waves or something coming out around them. And that's why I'm not super worried about exactly the size and shape of it, because obviously you can see that this side isn't exactly alike like that side. However, if it's a piece you're going to keep and you want to, and it's just going to be simply this, definitely go ahead. It's definitely a good idea to kind of do some measurements, and you can kind of draw that out to make sure that everything lines up the way it's supposed to. But I'm not too worried about that for this piece. At least not right now. As you can see, I'm kind of already breaking that with one of the fins. Although, I might actually have it a little bit more up. Yeah, so having this fin in there, what I'm actually going to do is it's going to kind of be up and wrapping around this edge. The fin on the inside will be a little more straight. These fins are a little bit longer but thinner and have a little bit of an edge at the end. Same thing with this one. Have it cut right there. For this, I'm going to kind of waving this, waving that way. Let's see. Have it waving in the water a little bit like this. and we'll see how that looks. Go ahead and block a few of these in, and you can see that I'm blocking them in, but I'm not getting super detailed into it, just because I want to make sure that it still kind of flows and works right after I put everything down. Might do a similar thing going on over here, not sure yet though. For these, just kind of doing a worm of clay, flatten them a little bit so that they're in a triangle shape. A little bit weird of a triangle shape, but there's that. And then again with these are a little bit longer, but skinnier. And go ahead and flatten both sides of them. Cut them in. There, like that. And then with this tail, I'll kind of follow a similar rhythm to the other one. And I think if I make sure I tipping the edge of the tails just so that it keeps with this flow, circular flow that they're going in. Not sure if I like that. Or if I actually like it like that a little bit better. So we're going to do that, keep it down. And there you have a start. And so we're going to keep going. All right, take this. For the lotus flower, I think basically what it's going to be is a lot of, basically to go ahead, roll up a ball of clay, angle the bottoms of your hands together so that you rub them together to kind of make that point. And then if you press on the inside and make sure the outside's still rounded, almost like a tooth, but you're actually going to flatten it a little bit more than usual. And basically building these up, bigger ones on the outside, a little bit smaller on the inside, and looks like it's going to be around a small circle, and that'll all kind of be radiating around it. So what I'm going to end up doing is doing a bunch of those shapes, and they'll all be basically like this, just built up, starting with the circle, then the inside, then kind of going outward, and as they go out, they'll start to splay forward, or splay out. All right? And then when I go in and do the goldfish, I'm going to start in, play around with the eyes, add them in a little bit more on the face, and then when I go in and do the texture, when I go in and do the scales, what I have here is a tool I showed you guys on one of the other ones. Basically just a popsicle stick, and cut out a half circle, kind of a half circle on that side and a half circle on this side, and you'll get this. And by pressing in the tip and kind of wiggling it to both sides, you'll get the space in between the gills. So basically here what we're doing is put the tip in, wiggle it to this side, line this up with that side, and do the same thing. Go down to the next layer, right underneath where the bottom of the circle is. That's where you put the point in. Go to both sides, do the same thing here. Both sides, both sides, both sides. And what you can see is you have a texture that's the beginning of scales. And of course, when you do that, you're not going to want to do it all, this way or across. You're going to want to make sure that you follow the fish. So, with all that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and speed things up, and you guys can check it out as I keep creating and moving faster. Alright, so you guys saw that I have a first pass here, and here is basically what we're looking at right now. And the thing is that I'm happy with the way that this is turning out. You saw I went in, the tool I had was a little bit too big, so I quickly made a second tool, that way I could get smaller in with the scales right here. I started building up the lotus flower. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to keep that or if I want to do, I'm not even sure what other type of, I might do some other types of flowers. I'm not really crazy with the way this is looking yet. But other than that, I'm happy with the way that this is turning out and it's looking. And next up, I'm going to jump on this one, do the same thing. Maybe even play with some waves, some Japanese style waves, and kind of, with the waves, I'm not sure if I would either do something like just kind of just using the tool itself and just kind of having it go with the same flow, or you can even add in, add in kind of bigger waves that would kind of be flowing off of it. So, how would that, so whirlpool's going this way, you would want it, I don't know if I would actually want it flowing outwards or not, but maybe it would have to come to the center to actually look right for that one. Maybe coming up and going off the edge, splitting that to have a bit more of a wave curl to it. Doing simple things like this, like little ideas, it's good to go ahead and do like really quick studies, not spend forever trying to fully detail out this wave if I decide later, it doesn't work out or it doesn't look good. These quick little add-ins will help you to figure out, if something is actually working as far as like compositional type of things. I actually have it coming off of here. And this is just stuff I'm adding because I just thought about it and kind of trying to figure out exactly where I might go the next time I jump in on this. If you're working on a piece that you're going to finish, everybody has their own way of kind of working. Sometimes people just go in and they work on it for hours at a time. For me personally, a lot of times I'll come in and I'll sketch something out and get the concept and, do all that. And what ends up happening is if it's a piece I like or a character I like, usually later on I'll come back and work a little bit more on it, when I really, start feeling it. But I like to work in small sections or in small sessions, and I'll come back to it a few times because depending on how I'm feeling, of course, sometimes I might not know exactly where I want to go, or I might want to take a break from this and say, you know, the lotus flower isn't really working for me, and I'm not sure if I want to keep that or if I actually want to get rid of it. So I'll take some time away from it just to kind of come back tomorrow or the day after with a fresh look, with a fresh eye, and maybe decide on something different. All right. So what I'm thinking here, actually, what's coming to me as I kind of put a little bit more into this and push it a little bit more. Actually cut this a little bit. These waves that are going to kind of be flowing off of the piece are also going to be in a whole circular motion. And what I'm thinking is the reason they're working is because they're going to be going kind of against the fish. So, for example, if this fish is swimming this way, it's swimming through the water and kind of pushing water back, which is why we're going to have waves kind of radiating that way, away from him. And same thing with this one. And that's what kind of gave me the idea here is, you know, if his tail's right here and he's swimming and kind of splashing with his tail, the water is going to flow kind of this way against that. So hopefully that'll actually work and make sense when I do a little bit more and actually figure out exactly how that'll work, if it'll actually look good. But at this very moment, it does. I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure about the flower, if I'm going to keep that, if I'm not going to keep it. That's also why I added a little bit more and kind of did a little bit more on this fin. On this fin. These still need to be figured out a little bit, but I didn't touch this one because I'm not exactly sure if that's going to be a little bit more straight out or a little bit farther back. Just because I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that flower, if I'm going to add a different one, if I'm going to take it away and leave it open, do water. All right. So there we go. That's where I'm going to place it at today. All right. I'm not going to place it there today. Because this is kind of coming up that way, I want to add a little bit more wave to this edge here. And kind of have that flow in. Do a little bit the same thing here. Add in a few watermarks for the water, to where the tail is going to be kind of disrupting the water. I don't know. And, you know, if I did that, then I actually cut just a little bit off of this side. There. So, now so far that's actually looking okay. All right. Yes. All right, so that's where I'm going to leave it for today. But there you have it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this session, and I'll share a little bit more of this process as I do a little bit more on this piece. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Please let me know what you thought. I'd love to see any of the creations that you guys are working on. Take this as a springboard and create your own special piece and have fun with it. So thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave me a comment. Also, go check out my Patreon page. Join in, support over there. That helps to push more videos, helps to also create my Little Heroes project, reach out to more children and do those special pieces for them, and just keeps everything rolling. Thank you guys for watching. Go get creative, and I'll see you guys next week.